Hello my friends, welcome to Painting with Her, and you can paint this painting we're about to do. I have an idea in mind what I want to do today, and you can see I got my canvas turned more portrait style than landscape. It's 16 by 20. Already covered with a thin, even coat of liquid white. I'm trying a new camera angle. I hope this angle works. My colors: titanium white, phthalo blue, midnight black, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, phthalo green, sap green, cad yellow, yellow ochre, and Indian yellow, and of course the evil bright red. I want to try to do, my wife is wanting a painting to hang in a room somewhere in the house. She's wanting a painting in this portrait length. So I ran across a painting the other day while I was surfing the web, and I can't remember who done it. I wish I did. So I'm going to try something like it. It's basically a waterfall painting. Hopefully it turns out right. If you're watching this video, then I guess it did. But we're going to start this painting today. I'm going to go right into a little of the phthalo blue, a little color on the brush, tap it right in. I'm going to start up here in the middle and just work my way out. And remember, as always, use a little X strokes and try to keep your corners darker. Trying to manipulate the eye to come towards the light, wherever the light's going to be. And leave you some light spots in your sky. Now we won't need a real big sky tonight or today. We're going to do, you'll see it's going to be a waterfall that's coming with trees on either side. Hopefully we're going to get some big rocks in it. And just like that, that's basically all we want to do. I'm hoping these lights are set properly, that you can see the colors. They look good to me. Alright. Then you can take the brush and just very gently rub across. And then once you get that done, go straight into some more phthalo blue and tap it right on the brush. And this time we're going to take our phthalo blue and we're going to come under here and we're going to come down with it just like so. And it don't matter if you go all the way up and touch the horizon, that's fine. And then into the midnight black out on the outside edges. And just pull that color down as well. That's all you got to do. A little of the blue. And get some more of the blue. Pull it all the way down. You can either come over here into where the black was ending and start pulling it down. You can go back in, pick up a little more of the black. The midnight black. And you can see the midnight black. If you can see these colors real good like I'm seeing them, that midnight black has a lavender look to it. And if you've ever been outside at night, I know a lot of people think that midnight is solid black, but it's actually got that little bit of lavender hue to it. But just like that, you got blue with midnight black on either side. And then on these colors, we just want to kind of blend these up and down for now, like so. And then side to side, just like we're always blending color. And if you get a spot that, you know, the color stays dark, you can always just do your little extra blend. But what we're looking for here is a darkness on either side of the blue. And keep in mind, you do have liquid white on the canvas, so having liquid white on there, it's going to tone the color down some. It's going to knock a lot of the darkness out, but I'll show you how we fix that here in a second. Just like that, we want to blend these colors. Now we can pick us up a little more of the phthalo blue. And come back in. And keep our center fairly blue. We want this center to stay blue. And if it's a dark blue, that's fine. And then once you do that, just knock some paint out on a paper towel. And then once again, come in, blend this color out, and then lightly go over the whole canvas. Just like so. Now, we want to darken these sides up just a little. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to pick us up a little of the midnight black on the brush, and we're going to pick us up a little of the Van Dyke brown and mix them together right on the brush. And tap that color right in. And just come right here and pull down. And you can see already how dark that color is. Just pull you in some color. You can go in the middle and pull a little here. You just make a couple little streaks here and there. But our main concern right now is we want this dark on the sides. Now this dark will matter, but not as much when we get further into painting. And then we'll wash that brush. Let me take another, to speed things up in the feminine world, I'm going to use another brush. We'll go right up here. And we'll just blend these colors in, like so. See how that dark color's blending into that blue? And just like this, we'll blend some of that. Then we will knock a little of that color out of the brush. We'll come across and lightly blend all the way back up to the horizon, just like so. Excuse me. Now, I know that probably looks like something for the Modern Museum of Modern Art, but it's got a plan. All right. I want to come in now, and we want to do some trees back in the distance. In order to achieve that effect, what we're going to do is we're going to take us a little bit of color here. I'm going to grab some phthalo green, and about the same amount of the brown, and mix them two colors together, and then about half that same amount of white. And the color I'm going to try to achieve here is just a very light minty gray looking green. I'll try to show it to you where you can see the color. This is it here. Hopefully you've seen that. But the reason we want that light color in there first is we're going to use a fan brush to make these trees, by the way. We want that light color in there first to represent distance, because as things are further off in the distance, they have a tendency to be lighter in color, misty, or however you want to say it. But just come up and basically pull you down some lines here for our trees. They can be wide, they can be skinny, they can be crooked, they can be straight. I mean, you don't have to have them, they don't have to be perfect, by no means. In fact, it's better if they're not. But just like that, just pull you in some trees, some lines for the trees. What am I trying to say here? The trunks. Yeah, the trunks. Alright, and then you can take your script liner, brush, and get it full of thinner. Go right into that same color and thin that paint down like water almost. Load that brush up. Just roll them bristles around and load it up. That's all you got to do. And then once you come back up to here to your canvas, just think like a tree. You know, have your limb come out here and here, because we're going to come in here and we're going to come back with some leaves and highlights, and we'll cover a lot of these limbs up. A lot of them will show, we hope, but we're going to lose a lot of them as well. So, you know, if you lose a few, we won't call the tree police on you today. We'll let you get away with that one. But also, at the same token, while doing this, you don't have to be perfect. And that's the thing about it. Because these trees are going to be representing distant trees. So we don't want a lot of detail, but we do want to know that, hey, there's trees back there when you look at it. And you never know, you know, somebody may see this painting after you've painted it, and they may fall in love with it. And they may want to purchase it from you. And if they do, you know, any time as an artist, if somebody likes your work enough that they're willing to pay money for it, well, that's a compliment. And that's the way you should take it. You know, take it as a compliment that, you know, somebody liked your work that much that they was willing to spend money that they worked for, or however they got it. It was their money. You know, they were willing to spend money on something you done. And that should give you a good feeling about yourself. I guess the first time I ever sold a painting, it was unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. Because to me, and you know, we're our own critics, but to me it just didn't look well. Alright, now, we got that done. Clean script line brush. Now I'm going to pick up my little round brush. Hope you can see it. And I am going to go into that same color that I made the trees with. But before I go up there and start tapping, I'm going to take me a little white on my knife. And just make me a spot over here. I'm just spreading it out. And my knife had a little of that light green already in it. So it mixed the color up about like that. So I'm going to I tapped into this color, like so. Now I'm going to tap into this color. And then I'm going to go back up to the canvas. And I'm just going to start lightly tapping. That's all I'm going to do. Just with those two colors. Now I'm not pushing hard here. I'm just barely bouncing that brush on the canvas. Just letting it touch. And sometimes the color's darker. Sometimes the color's lighter. But whatever it ends up being, that's all you got to do is just go with it. We're not gonna cry about it at all. But you can see what I'm doing here. It's just little light taps. Trust me, I'm not tapping hard at all. Now it may appear that I am, but that's because I'm probably tapping faster. And if you see the canvas moving, well, and the easel, it's not very secure. I got to do some serious work to figure out some kind of way to lock this. It's not designed, well, I mean, it is designed to sit on the desktop, but it's real light, and I've got it pushed up against the wall, or I thought I did. It's just kind of hard to keep from moving. But we're going to go all the way across on our trees here in the background. Get some of this corner up here. Look a little bit darker up here. Just like so. And just like that, you got some trees that are pushed off way in the distance. And all we did was just took that little bit of paint just like so. Now I did leave some openings in here where you can see through to the sky. And that's why we didn't put a whole lot of work in the sky today, because the sky's not our superstar today. It's just there for effect. Now, this brush does not have to be cleaned yet, so we'll hang on to it for a minute. But let's go ahead and clean one of our 2-inch brushes before we get too far ahead of ourselves here. Now I got a bucket sitting right here beside me that's got a little beater right in the bottom of it, of a trash can that I beat my bristles across. Then I take a paper towel and finish drying the bristles out, because I want this brush to be good and dry. For this next step, your brush needs to be good and dry. Alright, I'm going to come right across the bottom here of our trees. And I'm just going to lightly tap the bottom. But I'm not going to try and destroy the whole trunk. I just want to lightly tap the bottom here across like so. I still want you to be able to see some of the trunk. Just like that. Then you can go knock some more of that out. And then very gently come in here and blend across the bottom. And then you can, like when you're doing the clouds, just come in here and just very gently, very gently come in and blend this out. Or not blend it out, but blend it in more or less. Just to make it look, you want it to kind of look like fog or mist that's in here behind these trees. You can come across the bottom as well, and because the bottom of this is going to get a lot of work done, but the top is more important right now because of what's fixing to happen. Now, take our fan brush. Well, let's make a color first before we do that. We want this color to be a good bit darker. So we're going to pick us up some more of our phthalo green. We're going to add a little sap green in it. About half as much sap green. We're going to add some of the brown. We're going to add us a little bit of the alizarin crimson. We'll even add a little of the blue. And then we'll mix these colors together with our knife. Now these colors don't have to be thoroughly mixed, but you do want them mixed. They don't have to be so mixed that it takes you an hour to do it. You don't have to be that precise with it. This color is just basically going to be a dark color, and the reason for it is we're going to put us a couple trees in front of those trees. We're just going to come in and load that fan brush up on both sides, just like you always do. Now I'll tell you a secret right now about the fan brush. The fan brush, depending on where you grip it will determine a lot on your outcome up here. If you grip that fan brush down here to where you got more control of it, when you come up here and start doing little tree trunks, you'll notice you seem to have way more control. If you got that brush way back at the back, it's kind of awkward. It wants to turn on you and do all different sorts of stuff. So don't be scared. Reach down there and then grab that fan brush down lower toward the bristles and show it who's in charge. Just like that. And the reason I'm not being too precise with these, you'll see why. These trees are going to be evergreen trees, and I'm just going to come back again. We'll make that one a little bit more pointy. Just going to come in and tap. Just tap an evergreen tree out, just like so. Load the brush back up. We'll go up here and we'll tap us out another one. Now I do not want these trees perfect. I mean, in my paint, I don't. If you do, you do them as perfect as you want. That is your world. But in my painting, on this particular painting, I do not want these trees to appear proper and all perfect. I want them to look raggedy, and I want them to look old. I want some of them that don't have a whole lot of foliage on them. I want some that's just starting in the back here and just carries on. And the reason I don't want them that way is because of the theme of this painting. You know, because this waterfall, if it turns out right, it's going to be an old rocky, bushy waterfall that's just hanging around back here in a place that a lot of people don't step foot. A lot of people don't even know it's back here. We wouldn't have known it if we hadn't been trespassing. we was on some land we didn't have no business being on, and we found it. And now it's one of our favorite spots to go visit. And I hope if somebody owns this spot and they see it, I hope they don't believe me. I haven't been trespassing on your land. I promise. I think it's just fun to make little stories as you paint. Make up little tales to give you painting a life, you know, and make it a living, breathing object. Trees are alive. Bushes are alive. Water has life in it, you know, so now you see how I'm doing this? I guess I should have explained that while I was doing it. I'm leaving some space between these evergreens to well, the birds can sit there and eat, and squirrels can have a limb to sit on. But I'm leaving space between them that you can see through to the trees in the backdrop. Or in the background, I guess I should say. And like I said earlier, I do not want these trees being perfect. That is the one thing I'm not going for. I do not want perfect trees. Now I'm just going back across the bottom and just tapping a fan brush in any old kind of way, just to give it some ground back here. Because if you've watched me paint already, you know that if you just get a dark color in here in just about any kind of way, when you come back to highlight, you can turn it into bushes or whatever you want to turn it into. Okay, I just got a message from my wife here on the phone. She needs me to come upstairs for a minute. So I'm going to try to end this shot without creating a whole lot of mess up here. Okay, just like that, we're back. Alright, we're going to mix this up a little brown and white. A little more white than brown. We're looking for a tan. And put just a drop of red in it to get a kind of a pinkish tan. We're going to come up to our trees now, and we're going to put us a little trunk in that we can see. And you don't have to go all the way to the top. Just, you know, put you a partial trunk in. Because these trees have limbs that go forward and backwards, and they go all over the place. So you won't be able to see the trunk all the way up the tree, no way. We just want to put us in a little representation of it, you know, that you can see it here and there. And there again, these trees are, even though they're a little bigger and a little darker, these trees are still pretty far back too, so they don't have to have tremendous detail. Okay, the brush that we were using earlier with the light tree color in it, we're going to take that color now and we're going to go right into some cad yellow. Well, let's put a little bit of, just a drop of thinner on our brush. And we'll go into some cad yellow. And that's gonna turn that color green. We'll come across the bottom here in just a couple different places and add us some color in. Just keep in mind not to kill all the darks. Just skip around and add you some green over here. This color, green. Because skipping around will allow us to grab another color here in a second, and we can, once we do that, we can use another color in a different area and still be able to maintain the same effect, but we'll have different colors up here. We just don't want to kill all our dark. That's our main thing. We'll pick us up just a little bit more thinner. This don't take much thinner at all. Very, very little. We'll go into our yellow ochre with those same colors on it without washing it. Go into our yellow ochre a little bit. Come up here and just touch it around in a couple places. And you can see how it's just a difference in color. It just makes it look like you got more than one thing growing back here. And if you don't kill all the darks, it gives you a depth in it that you can go in here and pick you up some of the Indian yellow. It gives you a depth in it that looks like you can go under it if you were a bunny rabbit. You could run right in there and hide. And you know them bunny rabbits, they had to have places to hide. Just like that. That's all you got to do. And that'll give you that effect that there's something there. And then you can take the brush that we used earlier, that we blotted out the bottom of those trees with, knock a little of that color out. There's a little in there, not much. Then come back up here and just the bottom of these, just the bottom. You don't want to go up in them and pick up a lot of that color, because if you do, that color's just gonna try to get all down into your blue, and just like that. And then you can knock a little of that color out, and then come back across real lightly and just real lightly blend that color out, and it'll give it that misty effect, and that's the effect you want. Just like that. And then you can lightly blend to where it just stays where you want it. Now, we're going to take very little of this color we used here in the trees, and we're going to tap our brush into it. Let me show you how we're going to do this. We're going to take and tap our brush into it sideways and push. Tap and then push. And that should be all we need to do what we're fixing to do. We're going to come right down under that mist, just right under it. There's that brush got some red on it, so we got to be careful where that red don't play. Just lightly tap across the bottom here. Just lightly tap you in a line that comes across your whole. Just do not kill all that mist right now. That mist is your friend. If that mist is there, then this whole illusion works. If you get rid of the mist, the illusion's gone. That's all you want to do, is just come in and just tap those colors, or that color, just tap it in very lightly across here. Just don't get rid of your mist. Don't kill all that mist. Just like so. Now, we'll clean the brush. Let's go ahead and clean all our brushes right quick. Or at least get another 2-inch brush clean. And then what we want to do is make sure it's good and dry. Come right across the bottom of that and just very lightly tap it out. That little line you just made, just lightly tap it out and come back and circle blend it like a cloud and just very lightly blend it out. And that'll look like, or what it should look like, is just like a little bank over here that's got grass growing on it, that's got a little bit of mist floating on it, that comes from the water that we're fixing to create. And to create the water, well, I tell you what, before we jump into it that far, let's take our fan brush and we'll knock that dark color out that we were using for the trees. We'll leave a little of that thinner in it. And we will go up here and pick us up a little bit of our phthalo green and come down here into our cad yellow. And maybe just a little of the blue. Because when that blue hits that yellow, it'll turn a real pretty green. And then with the addition of the phthalo green in that too, it'll get a darkness to it. A real pretty dark green. Now these trees don't have to be super duper highlighted. We just want to know that they're back here. So we just want to touch in a few places. That's all we want to do. Is just touch in a couple places just to let you know that they are highlighted some. And you're going to pick up dark color from the other trees, and that's perfectly fine. Because as you come down the tree, you're going to get darker anyway. Because the further you go down the tree, you start losing your sun. And anytime you lose your sunlight, it's going to maintain a little darkness at the bottom. And I know these trees right now, they may look a little rough. But if you remember, I said I wanted them to be kind of ragged. I don't want them to be perfect. And you'll see why in a few minutes. I just want them there. I don't want to know they're back there. But by highlighting them and putting that color on them, it does help with the illusion we're going to get here in a few minutes. So I don't want to make it sound like highlighting is not important at all, because it is right now. Excuse me. And we'll do our last one here. Alright, we'll clean that brush now. Alright. Now, this is where the fun begins. We're going to take us a 1-inch brush and we're going to come into our white. And we're going to pull that white out on our brush like so. And we're going to bring that paint through the brush. Just like that. That's all we're doing. That's it. One side. Come up here to your, whichever side you want to start on is fine. But come up here to about, oh goodness, let's see. Let's say this is halfway of the canvas. Let's do about halfway of halfway. So a quarter. Lay your brush down sideways, just like so, and come across till you get about almost to the middle and drop down. And then go back up and get you some more white. Come from this side, do the same thing. Just come across and drop down. And then right here, same thing. Same thing. Just pull that color down. Just let it fall straight down. Come under it again. And that's all we're doing, is we're pulling these. And I'm not using a lot of paint. And the reason I'm not is because I want to be able to control how much color gets in here. Just like so, we want to pull these colors down. Just like so. just like that. And it kept that blueness in it, that other dark color that we had that was in the middle. Remember this color? Like there's almost like there's a rock crevice back behind it. Now we want to get our little round brush clean that we were using earlier. We'll clean it right quick. Alright, now that it's clean, we'll be using it just here in a second. Make sure it's good and dry. We want to go into that green color that we made for the evergreen trees. Not the highlight color, the dark color that we used. And we want to tap a little bit on our brush. And we're fixing to make us a bank across here on this side, just by lightly tapping. Just lightly tap above your water that you just brought in there. Just lightly tap, but don't go up and kill that other little misty green spot that we just made a minute ago. See, that's why we did that. We don't want to kill that. And just lightly tap your line across here. Just let you have a dark line. When we come back to highlight, we can raise it and lower it a little, and still not kill all our mist back here. Our separator. That's what it is. It's our separator. But you can see here where that water is coming in from the sides, and we're going to have to put something under that to hold it and make it look like water, and that's not going to be a big deal. We got a plan for that. We're going to take just a little bit of thinner on that brush that we were just using, and we're going to go into our yellow, and we're going to pick us up a little of the yellow, and we're going to pick us up a little of the bright red. So in essence, you'll have a green and red color on your brush. And we're going to come across here and just very, very gently. I tell you what, let's do. I'm going to take a little white. I'm going to take a little white and put down here too, in that same color. So we'll have green, red, and white. Now I don't want the red to be the most dominant color, but I do want the red to be seen in this color. But hopefully that yellow will give it an orange, kind of an orange effect. But if it don't, that's fine too. We'll go with whatever color we get. But I'm just going to come up here and just barely tap across here, just being careful not to kill all the darks or all the mist, because that mist is going to act as our separator. And I want to maintain this color in the center of this. I don't want this color getting all crazy going where it wants to. So that's why I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to pick up a little now of the yellow ochre that we was using earlier, and it's got some green in it. and it's got yellow ochre in it. Now it's got a little red in it. And we'll touch it the same way, being careful not to kill all the dark. We'll do it, we'll bring it out, just like so. Yep, let's clean that brush. Now we want to get our big round brush, the big oval round brush. And we're going to take that brush and we're going to go into the color, that same dark color we made to make these trees with up here. And this is where we're fixing to have some fun. We're going to come in here at the top. Oh, let's see where. I'll tell you what, let's start here. We'll just start there. We'll start tapping us in some tree shapes along here. Using some painting. You don't have to go all the way up right here. We can start right here if we want to. We can come over here and do us another one. Alright, well, we just killed that little evergreen. Sorry about that, Bob. Just like so. Give yourself some tree shape across here. Just something about like that. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We'll start about right here. And you can see where I'm starting. I'm cutting off the waterfall a little bit to make it look like these limbs are in front of it. And you know, there's a reason for that. There's always a reason we do stuff. And the reason we're doing this is distance. We want this to look like it's coming forward. And that's the reason I didn't care a lot about those trees, is because we're just coming up here now and covering them and knocking them completely out like they didn't even exist. Just like so. Come across there. And now we can clean this brush. You know, take up our script liner now, and that color we made up earlier that we used up here in these trees, that tan and white with a little bit of red in it. We can use that color now to come in here and give ourselves some trunks in these trees down here. As many as you want here and there. And you can come back and put some limbs on them. And I'm being real loose with these because they're going to get covered up. We just hope that a couple of them get saved to look like limbs back in here. I'm not trying to keep a real pretty tree limb anyway. I just want some indications. One of these days we'll slow down and do a tree that's got real pretty limbs that you draw in want to keep them in. Now we're going to use the half round brush, which is actually a big filbert. Most of them have a black handle. Mine has a white handle. Get a little thinner on that brush. Let's pick us up a little of this phthalo green and into our yellow. We'll let that be our first color. We're just going to tap that color in. I want to start up here highlighting, just like so. Just a little bit more thinner. Just like so. Just touch at random, but at the same time you're touching at random, keep in mind that it's a tree. You know, give yourself a little tree shape here. Don't just come up here and just go to dropping wherever you want to where it don't look like a tree at all. Because you can easily do that. I mean, you can take something that don't look like a tree at all and make it look like a tree. But then you can take something that looks like a tree and turn it into an absolute mess too. So you have to be careful. You just have a mindset of what you're doing. That's all. And at any point you're ever painting a painting and you start getting tired or frustrated, walk away from it for a second. There's nothing that says it has to be finished all at once. That's the beauty of oil paint. You don't have to sit down and do one of these in 30 minutes. Just because, you know, Bob Ross and Mr. Alexander and, you know, a lot of good painters, they'll do these paintings in 30-minute increments. And well, they were on TV. They had to, you know. They didn't really have a choice. They had a time slot that they had to meet. They had already practiced these paintings 2 or 3 times. They knew exactly what they were painting. They were looking at an example of it while they painted it. They already knew the colors they were going to use. And knowing all that stuff helps. Believe it or not, it really does. Because once you start out to do a painting, there's a lot of decision making that goes into it. You got to know where your light's coming from. You got to know what time of year it's going to be. You got to know if you're going to have water or not. Just like that. Just come in and tap you on some leaves. Just some different color. And it makes it look like those trees are in front of the waterfall now. On this side over here, we can come in and pick us up a little of the red. We can put us a little red tree in here, you know, right here. He can hang out with us today. We like red trees too. We'll go back and pick us up some more of our yellow. And our yellow's got all these colors in it. You know, all of our yellows have these colors mixed. And we're brush mixing them. So these colors, you don't really know what the next color that's going to fall out of your brush will be. But I can bet you it'll be pretty. Because all these colors that we're mixing are pretty. So but this brush, you can twist it and turn it and you can get different limb shapes. You can have them coming that way or this way, and by doing that, it'll make it look like a completely different tree. And all I'm doing is just bouncing back and forth between cad yellow and Indian yellow, and not killing all my dark. Always got to remember that dark. Always remember, don't kill all your dark. That dark is so important in a painting. That's where your depth comes from. Just pick up another color here. You know, I should have made some of that color with the alizarin crimson and yellow ochre. That's a real pretty color. That real peachy color. I didn't think about that color today in this painting. And that's usually one of my favorite colors to use in fall foliage. If you sneak it in different places, it just stands out like a sore thumb. Just glows. Now, we have highlighted those trees. We didn't kill all the trunks. We left quite a few in there, so I don't feel like we did too bad. Now let's get our 2-inch brush that we used earlier, and it's not real dirty, but let's go ahead and knock out that little bit of color where we're fixing to pick up some more of that color. But we're going to try to work around picking a lot of it up. We're going to go right into our white and tap our white into our bristles. And we're going to come across right here at the bottom of where we stopped those trees. We're going to come across right here. Just come across right under it. Just like so. And then wash the brush. Just wash that brush out real good. And once you get that brush washed out, just make sure it's good and dry. Get you a paper towel, dry it off. We want to take our knife next, and we want to go up into our brown and pick us up a little roll of brown on our knife. Now I want to come under here, and you see where our tree limbs stop? We want to come down under them a little bit and come over into where this other tree shape was, and just start pulling you some of the brown down, like so. And just come in and pull you in a line across here all the way down. Just like so. Just pull it down. Now I am pulling it at a slight angle here at the When I say slight angle, I mean from pulling it out in at a slight angle. But I'm going to keep it looking level. The way I want to do that, I want to come across here, but I want to kick it this way a little bit to give it a roundness. And just come back in here and pull it. Just pull it around. Just give it a little roundness. And we're going to do the same exact thing to this side. This side it'll have a different shape, of course. It's all land, but it don't always have to be the same. Just like so. We'll pull this color in. Now, the highlight color, the color that we used for our tree limbs, we're going to use that color, but we're going to take and put a little more of the brown in it, along with some yellow ochre this time, and a little crimson, and a little sap green. Alizarin crimson and sap green make a red. Make a brown. So that's all we're doing right now, is just making a different color brown. It's a whole lot lighter brown than that. And by putting our yellow ochre in it, it gives it that earthy tone, that earthy brown tone. We're going to pick us up a little roll of that. And just like putting snow on a mountain, we just want to come up here and just lightly graze this color we just put on. We just want to lightly graze it. Little highlights here and there. Just letting the knife pull off, the canvas pull off what it wants of the knife. And I really hope you guys give this painting a try. It's super easy to do. And then we'll do both sides. Just let the canvas pull off what it wants. And I'm not exactly sure what all you have at home as far as equipment. But if you're having problems coming up with anything because you live in an area that don't have a store that carries stuff, I'm a Bob Ross instructor, and I have access to Bob Ross stuff. I'll be more than glad to give you prices on what I can get you something for and get it shipped to you. I know where I live. Alright, I'm going to take a little white, put into this too while I'm talking. Now, I'm going to come back over it with another color, with this white in it. Where I live, if I wasn't ordering it in, I'd never have nothing Bob Ross. Within 300 miles of us, or 200 miles of us, you can't get your hands on it. Now I got just a little white added into this, so I'm gonna come back over it again, and I want to put less of this up here than the other color, because all I want this to be is an additional highlight color. And that'll give us almost a 3D effect by having a third color up here. And I'm just letting it come off where it wants to. I'm not trying to make it come off in a certain spot. I'm just trying to keep it all broke up looking. Just letting that canvas take what it wants. And if it decides it don't want it, I won't give it none of it. I will make it go on there. Okay, just like that. Take your brush, come in here and brush the bottom out where that white was. And just kind of go back over. I've touched my canvas in several places down here. Alright. Now, let's get our fan brush. Let's get it good and clean. Let's get us a pile of white out here. And I'm going to take just a speck of blue and put in my white. I don't want much in it at all, and I don't want it mixed well. I want to leave it marble mixed like that. I want that white and blue to be separated. I want them in the same pile, but I want the colors separated when you're looking at it. I think they use the term marbled or marbly for that. We'll go into, with our fan brush, leave a little thinner on the brush, and we're going to go into that color. And right in the middle here, where this water comes down and splashes, we want to just take and push it up just like so, just like so. And then you can come back and a little bit more thinner. Come across the bottom, across here, and splash that color up. And I know what you're thinking, because I've thought it too several times. Every time I do it, I think it. You know, am I messing up here? And the answer is no, you're not. By getting that brown in it, you haven't messed up a thing. And I'll show you why. Because now we're going to take our 2-inch brush and we're going to come across the bottom here. And we're going to start tapping it out across the bottom. And then we're going to take a paper towel and we'll knock that color out of our brush. And we're going to pick us up a little blue on our brush, on that 2-inch brush. And we're going to come back in and we're going to tap that blue in across the bottom and across the bottom of our water and all the way across. Just tap that blue in and then knock a little of that color out. And come in just like a cloud blend it out along the bottom here, and then lightly rub it off. Now, get your fan brush back. Come back into your clean white. Load it up. Get you some clean white on there. Now you want this kind of thin. I wouldn't say water thin. But kind of between water and butter. And you want to come up here and just very lightly let your brush come along and make these white strokes here and there. And then you can control them. Now you can come back and fix them with long way strokes like this. Come in and give yourself a water line up here and turn it and pull yourself a longer. You'll give yourself a sheet of, almost like a sheet of water. And do the same thing on this side. Give yourself a water line up here. Let it fall. And just pull it straight down. Just like so. Then we're going to clean that fan brush and get it kind of dry. I'm going to get you some more clean white. Load up both sides of it. Now if it gets a little blue in it, it won't, it's not a bad thing. If it picks up a little blue. Just try to keep out of a lot of contamination. But a little blue ain't gonna kill nothing right now. We'll come right back up here and just make you a splash again. And then all down in the water right here where it was splashing. Come back over it this time because you cleaned it all up now. So you already know that little bit of brown's not going to hurt nothing. And this water is doing it's doing some remarkable stuff here. When it hits, it's churning, and yeah, it's picking up everything. And there's nothing you can do about that. But out here, where it comes off the rocks, just let it be water. Let it flow. Let it come out and let it do water stuff. And to me, it's not unattractive if it does have a little of that brown in it. To me, it looks more natural, actually more like water than not having it. and you can come back along the sides, you know, really get carried away with your splashes and just smooth them out. You can work up into the splash back here. Work it out, you know, just little waves here and there, where the water's all churned up and turned up and churned up and ready to roll. And just like that, you got a waterfall painting. Now, one thing you can do here is you can close this off with, you know, you can come here with other trees on either side and close them off to where all you see is the middle. Like if you messed up real bad somewhere, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. If you needed to hide it with something, hide it with trees. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll leave this painting on the canvas, on the easel, for a couple of days. And if anybody sees this video and they want to know how it would look with trees closing in either side, just say so. And I'll come in here and I'll add some big trees and we'll close it in. And because my wife's not going to care, she's already said it didn't really matter. Just like that, put some more splashes in here. Make it look like it's really doing something. And then one thing you can do, I don't know if I've ever showed y'all this or not yet either, but on any time you got water, you can come in and put different little, just with your, it works better with the knife, but you can do it with a brush too. You can come in and just tap, and it'll give you waves almost like a white cap. Like if you've ever looked out at the ocean and see that water that sits on top of those waves, you can achieve that effect with just coming in and touching with the fan brush like that. And it'll make it look like that water's rolling over in places. But, as far as I'm concerned, we'll put an H on it for now. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put the H off onto the sides. In case, like I said, if anybody that's watching this wants to see what this would look like with big trees in it, I'll be more than glad to do it. Wouldn't take long at all. So don't think you're hindering me. In fact, I need comments. I need subscriptions and likes and comments. So if you enjoying what I'm doing, please subscribe, like it, and share it. Tell people about it. And if you got questions, please ask. If I don't know the answer, I'll find somebody that can help us both. Because to me, that's what it's all about, is learning. And this painting here is ready for a wall, ready for a frame. Thank y'all all for joining me. I really enjoy painting for people and for myself. And with that being said, y'all have a blessed night. Good night, my friends.